Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Compound Interesting. This is Emil, and in today's video we're having a look at Planet 13 stock. Yeah, I'm Irish, so I said 13 instead of 13. But anyway, so Planet 13 is a dispensary in Las Vegas, and it's recently kind of been hyped up by the Financial Education channel, which is the biggest YouTuber about stocks. So if you're watching this, you probably have seen him before. But yeah, he basically talked about the stock a couple of days ago, and the stock price pumped almost 26% overnight. But the reason it pumped so much is because it's such a tiny stock. So I thought I'd go into the stock, do a little quick video explaining what it does and my overall opinions on this stock. I think this is a pretty interesting stock because it's in the cannabis space, so it's a weed dispensary, but it's a bit more than that, so we'll talk about that. But it's in the cannabis space, but it's not in the bubble that all the other cannabis stocks were in, like Aurora, etc., which are growers of cannabis. It's actually just a dispensary, but it's a humongous dispensary. So before we get started, I just want to quickly mention that I was halfway through researching this company. I started to get a bit interested in it and wanted to see if I could buy it. And I looked on all the exchanges that I have investments in, and none of them offer this stock. It's a $200 million market cap stock, so a tiny stock. It's a penny stock. It's really small stock. So before you start researching this company, make sure you can actually buy it, because I'm in Ireland and I couldn't find anywhere where I could actually buy the stock. So just to mention that before you watch this. But I was halfway through researching it, so I thought I'd finish it up and bring you my thoughts on this stock and what I would do if I could invest in the stock. So with all that said, let's get straight into the video. Right, so I just double checked now. Planet 13 has actually come back down from that 26% jump that it did this morning. So yeah, if you're a trader, this could be an interesting stock to get in and out of. But for a long-term investor like myself, we're gonna look at it from that angle today, not for a trading, like a quick turnaround play. So firstly, let's quickly explain what Planet 13 does. So it's a huge store in the Las Vegas. It's pretty near the Strip, so it's the closest dispensary to the Las Vegas Strip, and it's absolutely massive, and it's a really cool place for stoners. So they're all about experience over products. So when you go in, there's LED lights, just so many cool features, orb show. You can use, like McDonald's, those self-pay kiosks. If you want to if you know what you're getting, just bam, get your weed, get out. And they have like all hundreds of different products, all different jellies and gummies that you can get, and they're all at the front of the shop. So and they're all really high margin products, so you have to walk through all these high margin products to get to the back where just the normal weed is sold. So a lot of people say, oh, maybe I'll get this gummies that Planet 13 would make a little bit more money on than just the plain weed. And they also have a restaurant and an event space, so it's a really, yeah, as I mentioned, a cool place for stoners. I'd love to go myself. Not that I'm a stoner or anything. But so obviously because of the coronavirus situation, they've had to close the store, but they're actually ramping up deliveries. So they didn't do this before, but now they're banging out deliveries to locals. So this is keeping them ticking over, but it's definitely going to be a interesting business in the future where they can become a weed delivery service. However, I think they make the most of their money from people actually coming into the store and buying a few things and going to the restaurant and all the different upsells that they have. They've been increasing the average order value, so I think it's about $100 per customer that comes in. So before it was, let's say, $60 the average person would spend when they go into the store, and just in the last year it's gone up to 100%. So I'll run through the numbers because it's a really fast growing company. But yeah, just to mention, they're actually the largest. That one shop is the largest dispensary in the world. Now you're obviously not just interested in buying this stock because you want to buy into this one superstore, this one dispensary. Obviously they have plans to expand into the rest of America, and we have to discuss and come up with our ideas on whether they will expand successfully or not, and whether or not it's just a one-trick pony in Las Vegas. So yeah, they make up 9% of weed sales in Las Vegas. Okay, so the number one thing you want to be looking at any sort of physical retail store, especially an expanding one like this, is the same store sales. So obviously this is only one store, but if there's ever an expanding like franchise or like restaurant in anywhere in the world, You want to make sure that their revenue isn't increasing just from opening more restaurants, because that isn't long-term sustainable. Eventually they will reach a tipping point. What you really want to see is same store sales going up year after year, even like a couple of percentage points year after year. Same store sales need to be going up. So that's one thing you really need to look out for. And Planet 13 has only been a public company for 2 years. So their same store sales have gone up. So that's good to see anyway. Revenue in total is up 250% year over year, which is obviously smashing growth, enormously fast growth. Now we can see on the quarterly chart that the revenue actually plateaued in Q3 and Q4, and that kind of gave me a bit of worry that maybe it was just a little bit of a hype bubble and then plateau. But I look further into it, and Las Vegas, that's generally the time when the most tourists are there. So I think in the future, revenue year over year will continue to grow, and it hasn't plateaued indefinitely now. Their balance sheet is okay, which is good. They have a lot of inside ownership, which is really good. And it would be possible for them to be profitable if they wanted to. They are a little bit profitable, but I don't think they're going to be profitable for a long time, as all their profits are going to be reinvested into building new stores. All right, the last point on their numbers is their price to sales ratio, which also isn't absolutely astronomical like any other weed industry stock. So they have a price to sales ratio of 2.7 at the moment. And that's actually historically low for this company. So it's still down a little bit from the coronavirus crash. So it's definitely not an extraordinarily overvalued stock, even though it's a penny stock. So now finally, my final opinion on this stock and what I would do if I could invest in this stock. Well, firstly, we need to reiterate that this is an extremely speculative stock. They have one store. So they've only proven that they can do this in one place. Now that's kind of like creating a concept vehicle, but everyone knows that scaling is the really difficult thing to do. Anyone can create, well, not anyone, it still is difficult to create a nice, successful restaurant, but scaling that to the masses is extremely difficult. So if I was to invest in this company at the moment, I would put a very, very small amount in. And financial education, Jeremy has put a huge amount in. Personally, I think that's quite a risky play. However, I would definitely be interested in following this stock. So I'd put a small amount in, and then I'd wait to see once they expand into other areas to see whether they're successful in other areas, because that's really the telling point. And if you see that they can open, say, 5 more stores in 5 different locations across the world or across America, then you know they can do that again and again and again for a long time. And if you see same store sales going up and up and up in each of those places, and the expansion going successfully in different places, then I would start to really invest a lot, because you can still make a huge gain from 5, instead of trying to go from one dispensary to 5 dispensary. Yeah, you'll get a nice 5x. Go from 5 dispensaries to 100 dispensaries in America. In my opinion, that would be a much safer investment once they've established and proven themselves. Now, they have proven that they can do well in Las Vegas, but I think their dispensary is kind of a tourist attraction, and everyone who is in Las Vegas is a tourist. Very few people are actually living there. It's mostly a tourist attraction, and the dispensary then might seem like a bit of a tourist attraction. So I'm not 100% guaranteed that this will work in other cities throughout America. We have to make sure that it's not just a one-trick pony in Las Vegas because it's a tourist attraction. I would make a small initial position as a kind of a speculative play, and then maybe in a few years, if I see that the company has successfully opened more stores, yeah, their stock price will be up quite a lot from there. But I think it's an extremely risky stock right now until we see that they can successfully expand into different markets and areas of the United States. So that's just my recommendation. Obviously not financial advice, just a quick one to get your juices flowing on the stock and give you a different perspective. So I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hugely appreciate a thumbs up. It would really help getting the channel out there a bit. If you have any recommendations for stocks or video ideas below, comment below, and the most liked comment will get a video. Alright, so I really hope you enjoyed. I really hope you learned something, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks again. Cheers.